This is our project about CSR and child labor. We will talk about the summary of the first movie now.
In the first movie a man called Mickey Mistrati has heard rumors about child labor in Africa, and he decides to take a closer look at these rumors and see if they are true. He travels to Mali because many African children disappears from the village. The reason why they disappear are that an organization called trafficking are kidnapping kids and children from Mali and smuggle them into the Ivory Coast. The children are forced to work at the cocoa farms without being paid. For the farmers, it's free labor, but it is illegal. The big chocolate companies insist that there is not anything about the child labor at the cocoa farms, or that it's not their responsibility. But in the documentary, we see the children being smuggled from a bus station at the borderline to the Ivory Coast. The trafficking happens on scooters, but not at the normal road between the countries. The trafficking happens through a back road. By using this road, they are not being caught. Later in the documentary, we see them look into one of the cocoa farms in the Ivory Coast. There we see how easy it is to find a bunch of children who are working at the farm. Afterward, when they confront the big companies about the child labor, we see a lot of bad excuses. And although it was actually very easy to find child labor at the cocoa farms.
And now I will tell a summary of the second movie. Mickey Mistrati, the journalist from Denmark, heads back to the Ivory Coast to find out if there has been any changes about the child labor and the trafficking. Mickey Mistrati writes to the Ivory Coast ambassador if he can get a visa to the country, but his wish is being denied unless a company or a chocolate company in the country invites him. Mickey Mistrati writes to several of the big cocoa firms to get a chance to get into the country, but all the firms are unable to give him a visa. Therefore, he gets one of his journalist connection, an Ivory Coast man named Anga Aboa, to go into the country to see if there has been any changes since the last time he was in the country. Meanwhile, Mickey Mistrati stays in the neighbor country Ghana and drives out to a random cocoa plantation to see if the big firms are living up to their promises about building schools and educate young children instead of child labor. The real life he sees in the villages is not what he was expecting. Unfinished schools are just standing at the cocoa plantation, and the firm that has been building the school won't finish it because of disagreements with the local citizens. The local plantation has made a system that can prove who has done the particular cocoa bean. Mickey Mistrati tried to see if the system works, and in the start the new system doesn't work, but they get it fixed and they show him that it works, and they prove that the new system actually works. What is CSR? CSR stands for Corporate Social Responsibility. A lot of people combine CSR with a good PR stunt, but it is how the company make profit and not how they spend their money. CSR is a company's voluntary activities to incorporate both social and ecological considerations, and with its business activities and in interaction with the company's stakeholders. Some of the company's stakeholders could be consumers, investors, communities, and so on.
CSR has its origin in the USA, and it was found back in 1950s. Back then, it was normal for big companies to donate money to charity, but today it's no longer a part of the CSR because it does not fulfill the terms in being connected directly to the contract basis and the objective to make the company way more sustainable. CSR became very popular in the 1960s and has since then remained on the industrial market, and it has since then been used as a cover legal responsibilities.
The CSR is used to take responsibility for the company's effects on the environment and on the social welfare. The term refers to the company's efforts that go beyond what may be required by regulators or the environmental protection groups. What is the code of conduct? Another name for code of conduct is code of practice. Code of practice is the integrity in the research. The codex is credibility, integrity, and the quality of the research. The codex is used in both the public and private institutions. This could be universities, funds, and the companies. The code of conduct is guidelines in a company. It is responsibility and a great environment for the employees and organization. Also, the demands they demand their suppliers when we talk ethical, social, and environmental.
The International Cocoa Initiative has the goal of supply chain 100% free of child labor, and they think that should be a goal for every business. The ICI cooperate with representatives from Anti-Slavery International, UNICEF, and UNGC, United Nations Global Compact. The ICI works at three different levels: community, national, and international. The ICI wants to educate the farmers and expand their knowledge of the cocoa. They help the cocoa farmers communities develop and implement their own community action plans. This helps ICI to identify and support activities to protect children and win the battle against child labor.
Uh, about the national level, they deliver training on the child protection and child labor to different parties, chocolate companies, cocoa traders and processors, cocoa suppliers, farming cooperatives, national authorities, extension service, and local NGOs. In order to strengthen their understanding of the issues and their capacity to take appropriate actions to tackle child labor. They help the private sector to change business practices and implement supply chain strategies that help manage the risk of child labor responsible. This includes establishing child labor monitoring and remediation systems. They provide training and technical advice on child labor to the governments of the Ivory Coast and Ghana, including the National Steering Committee on Child Labor in Ghana, the Oversight Committee Against Child Labor in Ivory Coast, and the public-private partnership platform of the Ivory Coast Coffee Cocoa Council. We also help the national governments coordinate. They help the national governments coordinate the um, various actors in initiatives aiming eliminating child labor. They support public awareness raising activities on child labor and the promotion of child rights through national advocacy and communication. For instance, on the Association of World Day Against Child Labor.
The ICI collect evidence on the international level, for example, data and information. The evidence against the different companies could, for example, be child labor in the cocoa industry. ICI then disseminate knowledge and good practices to different stakeholders in the cocoa sector. They participate in meetings, workshops, and conferences to influence international debates and strategies to tackle the child labor in the cocoa industry and child rights.
The UTZ. The UTZ is an organization that ensures that the children in poor countries to be allowed to go to school under safe conditions. At the same time, they ensure that the suppliers do not expose children to child labor. Compared to the second film, hold UTZ not their agreements. When the school barely finished, and that the children have access to messages are not safe for the children.